Hey, I bet you I can tell you something President Trump and Obama have in common. Don't think so? They both like cheap fun. Guys, welcome back to the original drone channel. For almost 10 years now, we're deep into FPV. And I have to tell you guys, I'm fired up about this one, mainly because this little kit of whatever it is, the Armor Blue Bee, 65mm 1S, 300 milliamp battery on here. It does not come with goggles, but it's 80 bucks. Cheap fun for 80 bucks. You know, it reminds me like back in the day when I was learning how to skateboard, and if you learned how to skateboard in the 80s, there was boards called Nash boards. You remember Nash boards? And a lot of kids started out with a Nash board, and it was almost an embarrassment when you showed up with your Nash board at like the ramp or down the street, little quarter pipe or whatever. And you know, you secretly loved that little Nash board because you got it for Christmas from your parents, and you knew your friends were going to make fun of you.
You nerd!
Have you ever been bullied, humiliated, and scared by someone bigger, stronger, or older than you?
Leave me alone. We just wanted you to...
I said leave me alone.
For having it, but it was so much fun when you were off by yourself and skating in that little corner or after everybody left. You know, it didn't ride good. It had terrible wheels. It had a wonky shape to it. It had a stupid kick pad on the back that kind of didn't work right at all. But it was one of those things that you just always remember. And some people might even still have their Nash board in their garage somewhere, I swear to God. But this is the Nash board of FPV quadcopters, the blue, Armor Blue. If you're brand new and just getting into FPV, this is the channel. So Makerfire has this one. It's 80 bucks, and it comes with everything in this kit: 65mm, extra set of props, 2 batteries in there. I'm wondering how much flight time we can get. It doesn't come with a DVR on this little monitor that it has, but it is detachable. So like later on, when you want to fly 5.8 analog video, you can get a pair of FPV goggles. It will work with this little drone, and this little guy will work with other quadcopters. So that's kind of cool. This will work with other quads. If you are at the field, this will be a cool little thing to have at the field and be able to show other people who've never seen FPV before. They can just turn on this little screen and go along with you on your flight. So that's pretty cool. I'm just going to charge up these 2 little batteries. They have pH 2.0 connectors on there, so you can pretty much get these batteries anywhere for this little guy, Amazon or Makerfire or whatever. But I think it's a great little quad. It's just so kooky and fun, and that's what FPV is all about to me, is fun. Same with skateboarding. Just go out there and kick push, and like, don't worry about what anyone else thinks. As long as you're having fun, that's what it's all about. So let's have some fun today with something that costs less than 100 bucks. Let's go rip this little Armor Blue Bee today on the channel. Let's do some flying. All right, my friends, I wanted to show you how good this monitor looks up close before we get started flying. We're indoors right now. We'll try to go outside, but I was flying a little bit earlier, and I did fail safe when I went out and too far into the backyard. So this transmitter only goes so far through, penetrating through your house outside. So we're gonna fly around a little bit inside. We're gonna do the flight modes on here as well. It has 3 different flight modes, different speeds, and you can fly ultra slow too, and you can tilt the camera up to make it go faster. So to arm the quad, all you have to do is put your sticks out to the side there, and it's gonna go ahead and take off. I'll put the DVR up here that I'm recording on my external goggles, and now I'm flying for the first time with this little guy. So again, I feel like the monitor looks pretty good. It's definitely, for me, a learning curve to be able to fly on a monitor. I haven't flown like this in a while. So I just gotta remember to keep my hands out so you guys can see where I'm going. I can barely see where I'm going on the monitor here. Because I'm kind of looking at 2 monitors here. Here we go, through the kitchen. I'm gonna try the different flight modes. There's 1 button on the left and 1 on the right, and I believe the 1 on the right does flips. So probably don't do that one inside, but this feels pretty controlled right here. Right stick makes it go forward and back and left and right. So that's full left stick and right stick. Left stick makes it go up and down. Just gradually making it go down. So getting used to it. It's nice indoors because if you fly outside, you may end up in a tree as a beginner. And you also, with a little bit of wind, it won't fly super great outside. So if you just barely press on the right stick, it has kind of a nice cruise on it. Let's go ahead and try another flight mode there. And I believe this might be the first flight mode. Let's see, full stick forward there. That's full stick forward. That's pretty good indoors. Let's go over the table, try to make that gap. Ooh, just barely made that. That was awesome. That's the kind of things that are cool with quadcopters that you're gonna learn about later if you're a beginner. So let's go ahead and venture outside here. I'm just gonna see how far I can go before I fail safe, because I think we're gonna fail safe if we go too far in the backyard, but this is the video system, like out in the backyard, it's actually doing pretty good for what this is, for 80 bucks. You got a little dipole on top of this little guy. Now, what's really fun as a beginner, you can get into a little bit later, but we call it tree exploring. And what you can do is fly up into the trees with these little whoops on a non-windy day. Just kind of explore in the trees. Try not to hit the branches, make some gaps. There's quite a bit of break up there. You know, it's not like a DJI system where you spent $1,000 on OcuSync. So, you know, with analog FPV, the cool thing is you can use another set of goggles. Like this set of goggles I have here right on the counter, this little white set right here, this is recording the video you see. So I'm flying right up next to the goggles. See the two antennas there? That's the DVR that you guys see up here. Hopefully it's recording. But we're just gonna fly this battery until the bitter end. The one thing I have to comment on is that there is no OSD on here, on this monitor, so you don't see any data about like what the battery level is. That would give you some idea of how much time you had left. And this doesn't need a computer to fly it. Like you don't have to bind it. You don't have to hook it up to like Betaflight. None of that crap. You just fly this quad. And so I'm excited about this one because this is gonna be the ultimate quad for the kids. But you know what, my kid, who's flying a lot, he already wants to fly acro. And there's the end of our battery. So battery number 1 is now finished. If you guys wanna see what's in this kit, a little bit more detailed information on it, we're gonna go back to the bench now and we'll talk about what you get for 80 bucks. All right, my guys, welcome back to the bench. Again, 80 bucks for this little kit, and this is pretty much everything that comes in the box. You get some extra video cables in here, which is kind of cool. You get some extra props. These are the 65mm props. They're quad blade, and you get 1S 300 milliamp batteries, which, you know, gives us about 3 minutes flight time. But honestly, these probably cost around, I'd say, maybe $3 a piece or something like that. So get like 10 of these batteries, I swear, and get yourself a little LiPo bag and put these in there. You also get a little USB PH 2.0 connector style LiPo charger as well. But I also want to show you that you can charge from other chargers with those type of connectors. So if you want to get one for a standalone, I'll try to find a link for one of these. These are nice. This has the really old school one on here, and they moved up to PH 2.0 because it gives you better motor power, even on a brush motor quad like this one. This is an XT60, just plugs into your LiPo charger, and you're often kind of balance charging up to like 6 batteries at once. Same thing with this one, but this one can be a standalone AC charger or out in the field charger by an XT60 on something like a 3S battery. And then you can be charging up to like 6 of those at once. The 6-in-1 chargers are really where it's at. So also in the box, you get that 2.4 gigahertz remote, and this is nothing to write home about. It's not like the most fancy remote in the world. It has all the same controls as the much bigger Radio Master radios have. It has a 1-button push flip mode option, but forget the flip mode for now. That will be fun for the kids, but for you, what you're learning today with something like this, it's like just learn how to fly FPV and actually learn how to make some gaps around the yard and in the house. You can set up a little course. You also get this little monitor, which does have, like, I believe it has a full 8 bands on here and around 40 channels. And it is running on 5.8. Comes with this little 5.8G antenna, Makerfire, and it has a little spot on the bottom for a tripod. So you can even put this on maybe a little desktop mini tripod and just fly from that. That's pretty cool. Push buttons on the side, But again, like no DVR on this. I wish it had a DVR on it, but it doesn't. It does have USB, kind of micro USB for charging the internal battery. So this can be powered by itself. And I'm wondering if we could probably power it with a power bank from this port right here. So that clips on with this. You can clip that on the very top of the remote. And here is the quad itself. And this weighs way under 250 grams. You're probably weighing in around, say, like maybe around 40 grams. I have to double check the weight on this one. But again, it's not like high quality plastic or anything like that. These props will break if you hit something probably super hard. But the chances are you're probably not really going to break a lot of props because you do have decent prop guards on here. They have a little bit of give, so that kind of makes it bounce. And this little guy is really so light for what it is. It's not likely that you're going to break something. If you do, you're going really fast. It has that little harness on the bottom for a 1S300 battery, and that fits in there quite nice, just like that. PH 2.0 connector plugs in right here, and there's no USB port on this, so you don't need to plug it up to Betaflight, download any software or anything like that. It's also tiltable, and you can get going super fast with about 35 to 40 degrees tilt. You can probably go all the way to 90 degrees if you wanted. But it is finger tiltable, which is cool. Put it all the way down if you want to go like super slow and just kind of cruise and make small gaps really slow around the house. That's fun. But really, at the end of the day, I mean, who is this for? This is for the absolute beginner. This is very similar, but actually way better than something like I started on back in the day. I started on a little Traxxas quadcopter and I flew it line of sight around the house. I didn't even have an FPV camera to play with. So if I would have started out with a little miniature monitor on 5.8, something that I could upgrade later into a pair of goggles, that would have been super cool. And even for me, someone who's an advanced pilot, having one of these around, it's just a really nice thing to have, especially when you're flying out of the field. Someone walks up to you and like, hey, what are you doing? Just give them this and be like, hey, come along for the ride. And that totally changes people's attitudes. So on their website, they do say it gets around 4 to 5 minutes flight time. And maybe I didn't have my batteries charged up full enough. It says like 4 hours to charge up one of the batteries. So that's kind of ridiculous. If I were you, I would get one of these 6-in-1 chargers. You can change the voltage on here and you can speed that up by a lot. So you can charge up to 0.6 volt on each of these PH 2.0 connectors on this charger. And what's cool about this charger is you can actually press the switch right here and change it to HV. So if you have any HV lipos, you can use this for an HV lipo charger as well. So that is a different kind of lipo. It comes up to 4.35 volt and these charge up to 4.2 volts. So keep that in mind. That's gonna be a little different voltage, and make sure you don't charge a standard lipo as an HV lipo. Just some beginner advice here, but these are really cool, and I thought this was cool for what it is. It's 80 bucks, and if this helps people get into FPV, I'm all about it. But you guys know I'm all about the beginners on my channel, the newbies, all the freaks and geeks can hang out right here, and we'll all fly and have fun together, and not worry about the cool guys. We just want to have some fun. I appreciate you. Please do subscribe on the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.